Oh, good.
We're going chasing.
Hello there, and welcome to...
We're going chasing.
Hello, now, and welcome to...
We're going chasing.
Now, we have a lot on the agenda, lads, so we'll cut the chase and get straight down to the business.
Hello and welcome to the latest episode of We're Going Chasing. We're looking ahead to this weekend's racing in Ireland. We've got some lovely cars. We've got Down Royal today, tomorrow, and then we've got Naas on Sunday, along with Gowran on Saturday. God, I nearly struggled with that, Killian.
You did, yeah. You were poor enough there now, I'd say. You want to sharpen up now for next week. The racing is getting better. You want to smarten up with it.
I would, yeah. I didn't have my notes open in front of me. But Killian, we're going to keep this relatively short because if people haven't guessed by that opening, I haven't given this weekend's racing a whole pile of thought because I've been very busy with a few other things. So it's going to be yourself carrying this a fair bit of the way, Killian.
Okay.
So we'll get
like
straight
every
into
other one carried by me.
For a change, more like. And just looking at the first race then in Down Royal, the 12-17, we've better days ahead, 4-7 on. It looks like he'll take a fair bit of beating over 2 miles 6, Killian.
Yeah, I'd say he will. He looked a real stayer and bumpers, and I'd say he'd just go out and win this. Like he'd some nice form. He was second in a bumper here, like looking like he needed a run and looking like he needed every inch of a trip. When he was beaten, and then beat Chapo Desai in Fairyhouse a month later. So there's a case to be made that he needed a run last year. Maybe he'll need it this year, but it's Gordon and Down Royal that just go out and win, don't they? I think Henry's horse is supposed to be nice. Naas Sunday. I'm probably blowing that wrong now, but they won a point to point in Lisrona in March. So I think that's supposed to be a nice enough horse, but I wouldn't be taking on Gordon here.
Okay. That's very fair. He loves it up there. It's like a playground for him.
Savage.
Moving on from that, then we've another Gordon Elliott favourite, Brighter Days Ahead, who started off over hurdles only about 2 or 3 weeks ago as all at Thurles, and has turned out again quickly enough. Was very impressive that day at Thurles, Killian, and is quite short for the Mayor's Novice Hurdle at Cheltenham. Yeah,
she's savage. I put her in the 10 to follow this year. Like she didn't really jump that well in Thurles, but like she's a savage engine, and she's getting weight from the second favourite. She's getting 7 pounds off Williamstown Dancer. So I'd say she'll be basically, I can't see her being beat, to be honest. It's a pity. I think if you win a grade 3, do you carry a penalty in the Mayor's Novice? I think you do. I think Magical Zoe had a penalty last year. So that's a bit disappointing because she'll have to give away a small bit of weight in the Mayor's Novice in March. But yeah, she'll win tomorrow. As we said, Gordon and Down Royal. It's a similar theme. I think Birdie or Bust is actually in my 10 to follow as well. I was told she was going over fences, but she's been kept to hurdles. She was beaten by Williamstown Dancer last time out in Tipperary. She went off favourite that day, got 4 pounds and got beaten 4 lengths. But I'd say she'll probably come on for the run, and I wouldn't be surprised she reversed the form with Willie's horse there getting 7. So maybe Brighter Days Ahead, Birdie or Bust to follow her in.
Okay, very good. And it's a rare runner for Willie too. He never has many at Down Royal.
He runs them in the Mayor's Race though.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, but it's only, I think he's 2 runners there tomorrow as all, and I don't know if he has anything on Saturday. He probably has another 1 or 2 max is all. I suppose it's Gordon's time of year, isn't it? And moving on from that there, and actually I think I know Gordon has all 7 favourites at Down Royal today, which is a bit mad. But and a lot of them sharp priced, and I was actually looking at the 7-fold. I think it's about 180 to 1, and I certainly think that I've seen worse 180 to 1 shots because he just gets on so well up there. It's unreal. But Irish Point, Killian, again, a grade 1 winner over hurdles last year, making a seasonal reappearance. Magical Zoe there was very impressive too. Hurdling last year, had a good reappearance run at Gowran towards the end of September. Was obviously second in the Mayor's Novice at Cheltenham last year. She could really put it up to him.
She could. She's weighted to win. She get 13 pounds. She's rated 11 pounds lower. So if you're a believer in that, she's the wrong price. She's 6 to 4 and he's 8 to 13. So she should win that by all accounts. I don't think she will though. I think I'd be a bit disappointed if Irish Point doesn't win this. Even like he was, I know it was just a maiden hurdle last year when he won, but he was pretty impressive in Cork in a weak enough race, I suppose. Excuse me, but I'd be disappointed if he doesn't win this. I think 2 miles probably isn't his ideal trip, but the ground is plenty soft and he goes pretty well on soft ground. So I think the trip shouldn't be a problem, and I think he'll win, to be honest.
Yeah, you could very well be right. I'd probably be surprised too if the mare was to beat him. But look, all will be revealed later on today. We've a nice beginner's chase. We've a couple of nice beginner's chases over the course of the weekend actually, and it looks like Marine Nationale is going to be out in Navan next weekend at a beginner's chase there at the Navan Racing Festival. So that's another one to look forward to. But looking at this weekend, we've found a 58 to 11 on Colonel Mustard 2 to 1. It probably looks like it's a match. Mel Mason will probably find it tough to put it up to the top 2 in the market, and it's 12 to 1 then Bar. But quite a nice beginner's chase.
Yeah, it is a good beginner's chase. I don't think Colonel Mustard looked a very fluent chaser last year in the couple of runs he had. Like he was beaten 10 lengths by Hollow Games and 20 lengths by El Fabiolo, but he went back over hurdles again and ran a couple of good races. Ran a few good races, but I think Found a 50 looks to be one that's on the improve. Like he'd a good bit of form last year. Like he was beaten by Corbett's Cross in that race in Naas the end of February over 2 miles. They were way clear a third, who's a nice mare, Walkaway Paul. He was pretty poor in entry and was well beaten in Punchestown then as well. But I'd say you'd imagine, like if you look at the kind of horses that Bective Stud have been buying, they're generally sort of chasing types. So you'd imagine he'll be improving for going over fences. Like he won a point to point, he got a rating of 95 that day. That's very high. He cost a lot of money as well. So I think he's a 6-year-old as well, up against an 8-year-old in Colonel Mustard. So you'd imagine he'd have a bit more scope for improvement than Colonel Mustard. So 8 to 11, I'd be taking that. The 4 I was looking at tomorrow was a Gordon Elliott fourfold, Better Days Ahead, Brighter Days Ahead, Irish Point, and Found a 50. I think it was about 7.5 to 1. So
okay,
I'll have a few quid in that tomorrow. Hopefully it goes well.
Yeah, the very best of luck with it, Killian. And from my own point of view, I actually think I just checked it there since I said it's 186 to 1 for the 7-fold, all 7 of his favourites. And I think it'd be worth 2 or 3 quid anyway. I couldn't see I'd see worse ways to spend money anyway. To be honest with you, and Wamalco would be one then that stands out for me. One that's after going to Gordon's yard, he always gets good improvement out of horses. Has already had 1 run just to fine tune him for this, and he's the exact kind of type that I'd expect Gordon to get some improvement out of. So if I was to pick one horse for Friday down Royal at a price, well, if I say at a price, I'm comparing it to the other Gordon Elliott favourites. He's about 3 to 1. But I think that he can go and do the business there tomorrow.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with Hunting Brook in the second race. He's rated 86. Like I couldn't tell you a bit about the horse's form. He's came from Emma Lavelle's. I'd wager he'll be rated 120 by Christmas. That's not to say Emma Lavelle is useless, but he's going to improve the horse. The horse is going to win tomorrow, I'd say. And I'd say it'll be 120 by Christmas.
God, that's a fair jump.
And you can clip
ambitious,
this.
But
you can clip this and come back to me.
Yeah. I said we've plenty of lads coming back to you, and you don't have a clue. No, he can improve all right, but Emma Lavelle is no bad trainer. She's quite a decent trainer, to be fair to her, and I couldn't imagine Gordon getting 40 or 50 pounds improvement out of him. But sure, look, time will tell. 34, is that what it is?
34.
Okay. Okay. Saturday then at Down Royal as well, we've Down Memory Lane in the 1:10. for Gordon Elliott. Interesting that Mark Walsh goes to Gowran on Saturday, and Derek O'Connor is on down memory lane here. But good bumper form last year. One nice win there at Fairy House, Killian.
Yeah, Derek was on him in his point to point as well. And was on him again, obviously, in his bumper. So he's kept the ride. I don't know what's bringing Mark Walsh to Gowran. I was trying to figure it out, but I haven't as of yet. But if you look at the bumper form, the second horse from Willie's was just beaten. Was beaten in a maiden hurdle by a nice horse at Gavin Cromwell's Antrim Coast that went pretty close over in Cheltenham at the end of October. And in the third, the Wall Park, Gordon actually bought it from the trainer, and he's gone on to win 3 of his first 4 races. He was beaten in a listed race down in Limerick there at the end of October by 18 lengths, but like he's still probably going to be rated at sort of 125, I suppose, over hurdles. So that's pretty decent standard for beating 4 lengths, and like down memory lane could have won by double it. So he's a nice recruit to hurdles, and it's definitely good he's starting off over 2 miles as opposed to the 2 mile 6 race. So it might show he's a small bit of speed anyway.
Yeah, it could indeed. And then the main race of the weekend, hands down, is the 2:20 at Down Royal. We've got the Ladbrokes Champion Chase. Only 4 runners in the field, quite a small field. Gordon has 2 of them, Jerry Colombe and Conflated. And then Henry sends 2 in Manila Indo and last year's winner of the race, Envoy Allen. It's probably going to take a fair performance to beat Jerry, but at the same time, it's a real test for him. First time stepping into open company. He's up against seasoned campaigners there in Manila Indo and Envoy Allen, and it'll be a fair test for him at the same time.
It will, yeah. Like it's the end of the day, it's a grade 1, and there's every horse is rated above 162. I saw someone giving out today, some English fella on Twitter saying, like, laughing, like, oh, Ireland have been poking fun at all our small fields, but here they are with a grade 1 and only 2 trainers with entries or with horses in the race, and only 4 runners. But like, if at the end of the day, you have to remember, like, there are 4 savage horses, four grade 1 horses. Like, you go to let's say if this race was ran in England and English horses were running, you'd have yokes that wouldn't lie up in a handicap running it, trying to pick up prize money, you know. So I thought it was a stupid drive at Irish racing when it's in a far better place than across in England. But yeah, Jerry Colombe, I'd say I think he's just going to win it. Like, he's if he improves from his novice campaign, and he probably has to improve a small bit to get to Envoy Allen's Down Royal form, because he seems to be a lot better Down Royal than most places else. But I think the danger could be Manila Indo here. He was pretty good.
Surprise.
I know, yeah, but I think he was pretty good. Well, like, Conflated is finished as far as I can see. Envoy Allen, you don't know what he's going to do, or will he show up or will he not show up? Who knows? Like, if he does, he's the danger. But like, in terms of just looking at it, like, Manila Indo is a bit more consistent than him, and I think he's probably the one to give Jerry the race, especially I know they've all had a run, and that could be a key as well coming against him. He's having his first run of the season, and obviously there's bigger targets down the line, but you'd be disappointed if he was beaten all the same.
Yeah, I'd be surprised now if Manila Indo is going to be the one to beat him. He'd be more suitable now to Veterans Chase over in the UK at this stage, I'd have thought, Killian, but
no, you'd be wrong there.
I think he'd be well suited to Veterans Chase.
No, he'd be too classy for that.
Mark maybe a small bit too high. He probably wouldn't be able to lug around that weight.
He'd probably be too good for it.
I don't know if he would now. I'd say at this stage in his career, he'd be as well off getting the mark down and going over to Sedgefield or someplace for a Veterans Chase. No,
you're very wrong there. I think you're very much mistaken, and you're attempting to rile me up. It's not going to work.
Look, Saturday at Down Royal then as well, not the same class of a card, or Saturday at Gowran, not the same class of a card there at Gowran as we do have at Down Royal. But Brandy Love is an interesting entry there in the beginner's chase, Killian.
She's going to win it, I suppose. Like, know what else there is to say. Like, she's she's by far the best over hurdles. So once she's able to jump a fence, I presume she'll win this. Town and rider as well. He doesn't go to down ride, obviously, because they've no runners really up. I don't think they've any runners Saturday, but yeah, she'll win that, I suppose.
Yeah, and then there's one interesting entry there in a maiden hurdle, Il Atlantique. He's in your 10 to follow, and he's out now as well. So the 10 to follows have been going reasonably well. I think I've definitely been going a bit better than you. I've 2 winners on the board. I'm not sure what you have yet, but I think by and large they're both going relatively okay, and it's still early doors.
Yeah, hopefully Atlantique gets the business done if he does run, or he's down to run anyway. It's starting off at 2 miles.
Yeah.
I presume we'd see him up at 2.5 or probably 3 later on the season, but
yeah,
it's no harm to start off at 2 anyway.
Yeah, not easy for him though, going around Gowran carrying the weight of your 10 to follow on his back as well. Has to be taken into consideration there. So if anybody's thinking about having a bet, proceed with caution would be my advice there. And then Sunday at Naas. Now we only have entries, we don't have any declarations here, but it's just purely to flag a few nice entries to you, so you have some idea of what's coming up on Sunday, or what may be coming up on Sunday. 11:40, a 2 mile maiden. Lovely entries. Slade Steele, I Care, there's a Beau who won a Punchestown bumper a couple of years ago and hasn't been seen since. We've got Caldwell Potter there for Gordon Elliott, and King of Kingsfield as well. So probably one of those Gordon Elliott runners will run. But it looks like it could be a decent maiden. Certainly one to watch. We have the Fishery Lane then. Golden Joy won a hurdle race at Autoy, and he should take all the beating really. Willie has one in there. Jit Largy won a maiden hurdle at Tip back in about May, I think it was, at very short odds. JP owned horse, and he would be the main danger. But it's a nice card there in 12:50. You've got another 2 mile 3 furlong maiden, Tully Hill. Looks like the main entry there, and will probably be a very short price if he does go to post at 2 o'clock. Go on.
No. Mahon's Way is in that for Henry as well. They're the same owners though, so you'd imagine they'll only run one of them, but I'd say they'd both be nice horses going up, and Mahon's Way would be able to show up the Mirazor West form as well if he does run. He was beaten by him in an ace bumper, so it'd be interesting to see how he goes if he does run.
Okay. At 2 o'clock then we've a grade 3 chase. Willie has an awful lot of entries here. Sant Roy, Dysart Dynamo, Sir Gerhard, Dino Blue. You might get 2. You'll obviously get 1 anyway. You might get 2 because he has to run these horses somewhere. Field Door is there for Gordon as well. So that's a lovely race too.
Yeah, you have to think about that race too though, and like the most important entry in that race is the number 8 horse, Hope to Blins. She's raced 116 for John Ryan, and like this is what he is the best in the world at. Like, so you have 8 in it, 4 are Willie's. He's probably going to run 2 max. Then you're looking at Panda Boy, Ida's Boy, Field Door. At least one of those, probably 2 won't run. Suddenly you're down to 4 runners. It's 1,450 quid for coming fourth. She'll be back 50 lengths. It's no problem. It won't do anything to her mark. God forbid if something fell in front of her, she'd go up and then she'd pick up 2,900 quid. Like there is no one better at this than John Ryan. He did it on Thursday in Clonmel. Grange Walk picked up 5,400 quid for coming third in the Clonmel Oil. Like that's savage. Like,
and that's after the jockey 10%. He would have got more than that actually, wouldn't he?
5,400 for coming third.
6,000 for coming to third according to the Racing Post.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Or wherever I saw it, any it was 6,000.
Yeah, I saw 5,000.
So yeah, 5,400 would be probably after the 10% for the jockey.
Picked up a nice bit of money anyway. So you've got to hand it to him. And there's no one better at this than John Ryan.
Well, that's one thing I certainly will give him. There is nobody else better at it. And sure, look, prize money is prize money. It's there to be won, and
he's picking it up off the ground.
It literally is picking it up off the ground. It's bending over, picking it up off the ground into the back pocket and away. Like that was savage in Clonmel on Thursday, to be fair, like because he's only based there around Thurles, there the far side of Thurles.
He could have walked the horse.
Oh, that was only, I'd say, 40 minutes in the truck.
Yeah,
'Cause
he'd walk the horse if he wanted to.
You do it in half an hour in the car, handy enough. 40 minutes in the truck there, and then he's going back home the other way with the horse in the back of the truck again, and about $6,000 or $5,500 in the back pocket.
Yeah, cash.
Sitting on it. Cash, exactly. Sitting on it. So fair play to him. And then also another possibly savage race. Again, like these beginners chase at this time of year just can be so hot. You'll be looking at some of them thinking that it's a graded race. But if we got 2 or 3 of these over 2 mile 4 furlongs at Naas on Sunday at the 2:35, we'd be going very well. 3 Stripe Life won it last year, and this year, looking at the entries, we've got Corbett's Cross, San Felician, Heartwood, Gaelic Warrior, and Nick Rocket. So there's an awful lot to look forward to there on Sunday, and indeed over the course of the whole weekend. Myself and yourself will both have our selections for each day up on Twitter, so we'll look at it in a bit more detail. And before we finish off, Killian, best bets for the weekend. Give me 1 or 2 horses that you feel will definitely win. I'm not too bothered about price. Just give me something better than evens, something that's going to win.
Yeah, brighter days ahead tomorrow or today in downright even money. Yeah,
even money.
She'll win, and one in England as well on Saturday in the 2:10 in entry, Master Chewy. He's 2-1 with William Hiller, the only ones to price him up at the moment. But I don't think it doesn't matter what price he is, he's going to win. He won by 12 lengths the last day. He's gone up £10. Could have won by 25 lengths. He'll win. He's a smashing horse. He was part of that €1 million point that's turned out to be shit. But he's still a good horse, and 131 won't stop him in this race in entry.
Okay, and at this stage, I'm only going to give you 1 for Down Royal today. I've already mentioned him, Wamalco. Was with Robert Tyner, gone to Gordon Elliott, has had a couple of runs, was off track for about a year, and he's just the kind of horse that Gordon is going to get savage improvement out of. He's rated there 111 over hurdles, and I'd imagine that's well within his grasp. So that's 1 for me, 2 for Killian. But we'll be back on Monday with our performance rankings. So make sure to join us for that. And I have a Cheltenham Anti-Post selection in the pipeline, and that will probably be with you next Wednesday. We've gone quite well. If you're looking at price and looking at value, we've gone well so far. Killian has only had the 1 selection, and it's gone from 66-1 into 25-1. Gentleman's game for the Gold Cup. So hopefully I can find some sort of value there, and the price will shorten, and at least then we're off to some sort of a decent start between the 2 of us. But look, that's all for this week, unless you have any more to add to that, Killian.
No, I don't.
Okay. Right, lads, we'll see you on Monday. All the best.
Thank you.
It's Honeysuckle and Rachel